off they went to the Mega's house, the witch's house. And it was a very small cottage, and she had a lot of herbs hanging outside the door, and she had a few things they didn't quite understand and they thought were suspicious. But I shall not explain what she did or how she lived. The only thing I will explain is that they were scared of the woman. She was a middle-aged woman, and she looked a bit untidy, so to say. But anyway, they went through her door when she let them in, and they told her what the situation was. "Look, we don't want to bother you," they said in an apologetic tone, because they were scared of her. And they said, "Something is going on in our house. We can't sleep because really there's a noise in the evening, and this noise is distressing because it seems as if everything falls out of place in the kitchen, but then we go in and things are where they should be. And last night," she said, "there was a laughter, and I couldn't believe it because there was no one." And they were so rushing into the conversation, and they interrupted one another when they talked because they were nervous and they were spooked and tired. And so she said, okay, calm down. Stop for a minute. I know what's going on." She lit a bunch of herbs, which they found out later was sage, which is supposed to clean the atmosphere, and she moved the bunch about them, smoking them with this. Then she grabbed some salt and she sprinkled it in the shape of a circle around the table they were sitting at, and finally she grabbed their hands, and she put a bowl of water in the middle of all of their hands, and she looked intently into the water, and she said, "Okay, calm down and let me see." They were silent for a few seconds. The couple were looking at one another, sort of what's going on here, and they were spooked because they thought this was something bad, evil. And so she looked into the water for a while and she said, all right, I know. This was Sophia's house." "Who?" she said. "Sophia's house. Sophia used to live there, but she got killed." Oh, they looked at one another and they asked her how was she killed, or who killed her. Well, she was killed by thieves because she lived alone and she was helpless, so they wanted to take some of her cattle and they killed her because she defended herself. So Sophia's spirit is trapped in the house and she thinks you're intruders. "What?" The guy went, "This is insane. This is impossible. This is not really happening. You're not telling me this, and I don't believe a word you're telling me." The girl took him by the hand and she said, Darling, please. This is our only chance. There's nothing else we can do." "Okay, all right." He took a deep breath and he sat down again and he said, "Okay, what shall we do?" So the Mega said, "This is really simple. All you have to do is take one of the jars, take just a handful of grain, lentils for example, and put them in the jar, but count them." And he laughs and he says, "This is a sick joke, right?" So if you want to know how this goes on, stay tuned.